Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name. As the expression goes, be careful what you wish for. In my former life, I was an insider as much as anybody else. And I knew what it's like, and I still know what it's like to be an insider. It's not bad. Not bad. Now I'm being punished for leaving the special club and revealing to you the terrible things that are going on having to do with our country. Because I used to be part of the club, I'm the only one that can fix it. I'm doing this for the people and for the movement, and we will take back this country for you, and we will make America great again. Because you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to take us out, and it's not going to work. Not going to work. Not going to work. It's not going to work. We're just getting started. The drug cartels are waging war in America, and we will destroy the cartels. You have no choice. That's an army. And I'll use Title 42 to end the child trafficking crisis by returning all trafficked children to their families in their home countries immediately. Never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom, because I will never let them take away your freedom. I won't. They want to silence me, because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they are not after me, they're after you. I'm just standing in their way. I always will. And I will fully protect and uphold our great and very important under siege Second Amendment. We will protect. We will protect innocent life, and we will restore free speech, and I will secure our elections. We will secure our elections. If we don't, we are a country in trouble. Our goal will be one day voting with paper ballots and voter ID. Very simple. On day one, I will sign a new executive order to cut federal funding for any school at all, pushing critical race theory, transgender insanity, and other inappropriate racial, sexual, or political content onto the lives of our children. And I will not give one penny to any school that has a vaccine mandate or a mask mandate. When I was coming down the escalator with Melania, I was already under investigation because they saw how well I was doing in the polls. And it just got worse and worse. And we caught them. We said they were spying on our campaign. It turned out to be true. They had the fake dossier. That turned out to be true. It was paid for by the Democrat Party. It was all fiction. All of these things happened. Impeachment hoax number one, impeachment hoax number two. I've been treated very badly. And I've won every single time. When you say, do I sleep? I sleep. I sleep. Because I truly feel that in the end, we're going to win. I think we're going to win an election the likes of which nobody's ever seen before. I don't think anything's going to stop it. Nothing's going to stop it. I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president. And every citizen, I will fight for you, for your family, and your future. Every single day I will be fighting for you, and with every breath in my body, I will not rest until we have delivered the strong, safe, and prosperous America that our children deserve and that you deserve. This will truly be the golden age of America. That's what we have to have.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Culture of Change. I love that video. Oh, thank you. I
That's
said
great.
Brad Abby Live on the bottom. Like, it's not Brad and Abby Live.
Tonight am
Yes,
playing the
thank
role
you.
of Brad. It's dawn, Abby. It's dawn. Give me some coffee.
Yeah, some coffee. That's right. See, you know how to do it so well. I try and I
I
try.
married one of those too. Yeah.
You've been married
Speaking of-
one longer. That's how you're so good at that.
I have been married for 23 years today.
Yay!
Is that coming through? Okay. Yeah. So I got married at 22. I have officially been married to my husband longer than I was alive without him.
That's amazing. How does it feel?
It feels really good. It feels really good. This is my favorite picture of all.
Oh my gosh. I love that. You're just so excited. You're just so happy, joyous.
Yeah. We were babies and absolute morons. Yeah.
That's the best way. It's good when you can grow together. That is the best. I love it. Well, congratulations. Everybody let Ash know how much you love her and appreciate her and her husband. Super cool.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, so we have a great show planned. There's a lot happening. So the WEF is kind of imploding. I like to say it's the collapse of globalism, which is I think what we're seeing across the board. But we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the new leader of the World Economic Forum because Klaus is out, as we talked about last week, and he is now being investigated. Yikes.
Investigation. About time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. So we'll talk about that. And then we're going to talk about some Agenda 2030 stuff and what's happening in Europe with the energy and what's the future of water. If these lizard people were to have their way, we'll talk about that. And then we're going to end on a, delightfully good note because the White House is flexing their accomplishments. They have so many accomplishments. They can't just do a 100-day celebration. They have to do a week of 100-day celebration because we really need a whole day for every domain to celebrate all the accomplishments. So we're going to talk about that as well. Everybody do us a favor and hit the thumbs up, the heart, the red pill, wherever you're watching us. Please hit the like button. It helps us out quite a bit. We definitely appreciate it. And we're in this new time slot now. So we want people to know about us here and join and find us. So share it, smash the thumb. That helps other people get to see it as well because it drives certain metrics at Rumble. But yeah.
And also because you just love us.
Yeah, obviously. So, okay, why don't we hear from our incredible sponsors? And first up, we have River Bitcoin. Badlands Media is, that's the wrong one. Hang on one second. River Bitcoin. River announces Bitcoin interest on cash. Now US dollars in your River account will earn a high yield interest rate that can be paid in Bitcoin. With the price of groceries, mortgage, and tuition on a steep rise, people are now looking at a retirement age of 80 instead of 60, and it's all because dollars are losing value at a record pace. The challenge is finding a way to hold on to your dollar while still getting ahead, and that is where River Bitcoin comes in. River Bitcoin's interest on cash protects your dollars with FDIC insurance while offering you the option to reap the potential gains of Bitcoin. Over the past 2 years, you would have earned 2 times the most high yield savings accounts and 16 times the rate of the national average savings account with River with Bitcoin interest on cash. Get started at badlandsmedia.tv/river. That's badlandsmedia.tv/river. Move your cash to River today and start earning a real interest rate with Bitcoin. And now let's hear from our friends at Rise Attire.
By now, you've probably seen the new collab between Rise and Badlands Media, but I'll tell you what you haven't seen yet. The end of Clown World as we know it. But have no fear. Introducing the latest addition to the Badlands INTL lineup, the sequel to the best-selling Sci War series. We've been conditioned by these clowns to accept their circus. But it's time to unwind that and strike them out the history books. The future belongs to the real, and we've got it in droves. Go to badlandsmedia.tv/rise for the full line of premium and direct-to-garment streetwear. Made to order right here in the good old US of A, the heart of the resistance. The fall of Clown World is upon us, Patriots. Let's make it official.
All right, badlandsmedia.me/rise. We love Adrian and Christina. They do great work. Yep. That thing gives me a seizure, though. The glitch. You're muted. Yeah. Oh, you got to stand up a little bit more so we can see because
I gotta stand up. Wait, hold on. I want to put my headphones out.
you
guys see
got to
it?
stand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they
Do a
have a
little ghost
regular and then they have a glitch version. And I like it always kind of just is like people know Cam wears the cyborg glitch hat all the time. And you think like, I don't remember drinking today, but I feel like I had a couple drinks.
It twitches
Looking
people
at
out.
your
I've heard a few
hat.
people say that. They're like, I had to do
Yeah.
a double take. It's good for starting conversations. So that's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely the optical illusion of it does things to your brain. And that is one of the things that I learned quite a bit about in Deadwood last year at GART, because I went to the Cosmos Mystery Center with General Quast. And I'm like, how does this witchcraft work? And he's like, actually.
I saw pictures of that.
Yeah.
I saw pictures of you.
I
like,
wrote
freaking out.
a whole Badlands feature about it. It was an absolute blast. It's like this, place where water flows uphill and gravity just works different here, and it's mostly up. Well, I don't want to ruin everybody's experience, but check it out. Optical illusions are fun, and you can check it out in August at Deadwood, and you can get tickets to that. If you get a GART virtual ticket for GART Plymouth, you can get early access to Deadwood. And I think Deadwood is expected to sell out. The tickets are already flying off the shelves. You'll be in Deadwood, right?
Oh, yeah, dude. Deadwood was magical.
I'm having like a trauma response that you're not going to be.
I know. I'm really feeling it now. Because what's going to happen, you guys are all going to be there. And I know the other things going on when the cameras are off. Like you guys are all visiting, going on adventures, like having deep talks. I'm like, hey, man. It's okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Okay.
Yeah. And
if you guys, whoever can make it, go for it.
With each one, we're trying to be more engaged in the virtual ticket in the virtual Telegram chat, be more have more times where we're going live from the behind the scenes kinds of stuff. We're figuring this stuff out as we go. And the event team that puts this together is top notch and very lean. Small group of people make GART happen, and it is just a phenomenal event. There's nothing else like it. There's no other event that's like GART.
Yeah,
I stand by that. I've been to a lot of events.
Oh, see, now I hadn't been, but I've heard people say they're like, I really love how it is. It's always wonderful venues. The truth is, the venues are always very nice, very pleasant. So it's a great experience for that. And if you can get, stay actually at the hotel that usually is with the venue or close by, it's so easy. And it's just so much fun. It's like camp. I always liken it to camp, but for grown-ups.
It is.
And they get to meet friends and like everybody knows what you're talking about. You can be like, yeah, Klaus Schwab. And they're like, yeah, 100%, man. You don't have to worry about anything. Like everybody there pretty much knows. And they'll probably know other things you don't know, which makes it super enjoyable. It's just a blast. It's a good time.
Yeah. It's like, we're not inviting you to come hear us speak. Right? Like we're inviting you to come hang out with us for a weekend and let's get into some trouble and shenanigans and have a good time and also have really good conversations and explore ideas and, talk about liberty. And yeah, I mean, the reason I say I really want to have a GART at the Denver International Airport, but also we probably can't because someone will get arrested. That is the GART. That's why GART is special and unique.
Dude, Denver International Airport is scary.
Yeah.
That horse outside.
They really lean into it too. They lean into the conspiracy theories. They love everything about that.
There's something underneath. That's for another show.
Tell you about the
That's for
three
another
blue objects.
No.
Oh, so Katie Kirkland. I don't know if Katie is in the chat. She's Make Art Good Again is her handle.
Yes.
Yeah, she's amazing. She lives out here, and she wrote a feature for Colorado Free Press on this. So you have Blucifer, the horse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then a while back, they had, you know what? I can just show you.
Do you know the guy that sculpted that? It crushed him and killed him.
Yep, I sure do. And so they set up this bear, this giant blue bear. Blue
What the
entities.
frick?
Yep. Where is that goat head thing? And then
It's
so
always some
apparently
great-
there's 3, and westward. Actually, I can find west. It'll be on westward. I can't find the article in there.
So
I'm
do you think these are
searching.
idols? Like I play around with it.
We
I
are
think
so far off the show plan, but I'm here for it because I really want to be the one who shows you this thing because it's freaking horrifying.
we'll get back on, guys. We'll get back on track.
Bear is
There's so
like,
much stuff.
yeah, the bear is like, come and see, come and play, something like that is the bear thing. Where is new
Creepy.
blue entity or third blue entity? If they wiped this from the internet, I'm gonna be so mad. Here it is. Got it. All right. So we had the bear. I'm going to pull up the bear and the horse first so everybody can see what we're talking about. All right. This is Lucifer.
Right.
Yeah.
The one that
So
killed the
it's
guy.
a Mustang with these like, creepy ass veins
Starving.
flowing through his body. He's got demon red eyes. And as he was being erected, he fell and crushed his creator. That's a fact. So then we also had this bear. This thing is really tall.
Whoa, I have never seen this. What the heck is
Yeah.
this monstrosity?
Yeah, you're gonna flip out when I tell you about the third one. So this has been here for a while. It's outside like the Museum of Art. I see what you mean. That's what it's called. And it's looking inside of this museum. And it's an art installment, right? So they found a third blue entity, and apparently this has meaning in the occult. And this is the third blue entity.
Oh
I'm
my
not
gosh.
kidding. This is,
Apparently it means something connected to the cult. Yeah.
its
yeah,
name
there's
is
so many-
Baal.
Gosh,
Like-
where is this at? Where is this at?
Buckley Space Force Base. The giant mountain goat with red glowing eyes is the best kept secret on Buckley Space Force Base.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
That's so
yeah.
that is, by the way, for as far as symbolism, reading that as a symbol, quick takedown. You have what basically there's a pentagram in the back. It doesn't you can't really technically see it, but it is woven throughout the spider web behind there. You've got the goat, which obviously represents Lucifer with red glowing eyes. I mean, that part it's like
Is there any any doubt as to why we're like one of the nation's leading destinations for transing kids, for abortion, for all the horrible things? We have 3 blue entities, and like
That's
any 3
wild.
points, they make a triangle.
And you said that's at the space. What is it?
Buckley Space Force Base. So it used to be Buckley Air Force Base, and now it's Buckley Space Force Base.
Air Force.
And I couldn't find
Interesting.
when Katie broke this story, I was trying to or wrote about this story because Westward broke it, but I was trying to figure out if there was like anything meaningful about the distances between the 3 points of the blue entities. And I mean, any 3 points make a triangle, right? But the measurements weren't terribly significant, but the location of this, like Buckley Space Force Base, is huge, right? And the location of the goat isn't really well known, so the calculations could be off. We know exactly where the bear and exactly where the Lucifer are.
So it's
Those
like a
are physical
hidden
landmarks.
omen. They're like hidden things of power, whatever. I don't know exactly. They have things to this and they call, and it means things to them. And yes, they make what are they called? Sorry, I can't remember the name. But basically they make points and then they do a cult ritual within that point, and it's to capture the energy of whatever they're going to do, whether it be something very dark like a sacrifice.
Yeah, so check this out. Check out how they wrote this up. Why do we think Baal exists in the first place if no one has ever come forward to conclusively say they've seen it? Answer: Denver has seen an unprecedented level of growth in the last 15 to 20 years, even before the pandemic. While Colorado has always had gorgeous outdoor opportunities and varied economic growth engines, mining, logging, then recreation, etc. So why did the growth occur in this period? There are official narratives from sociology, economics, and history buffs, all complicated interweavings of causality. Occam's razor tells us the simplest answer is often the correct one. Here, then, is the simplest answer. Colorado grew during this period because someone in city or state government had an interest in and connection to the occult. Using the cover of public arts funds, they coordinated with reputable local artists to contain powerful entities at energetic locus points around the metro area when the holding containers for the entities were complete. Both within a few years of each other, the current wave of Denver mania began to take off.
Wow. So it is a point of like power that they're trying to do. I looked up, Baal, the meaning of it, or Baal, however you want to say it.
Canaanite god
Was a title for a deity, specifically one associated with fertility, weather, and storms, often depicted as a bull or ram. The word Baal also meant owner or lord.
Yeah.
That's
that's a very old god. Baal.
Yeah.
Baal. It's an ancient god.
It's like people like that don't think you're out of spiritual warfare. It's like, look, it's happening all around you. It's happening all around you. It never quit. They just changed. This is like an Air Force Base. What in the world, for real, would that be doing at Air Force Base other than for ritual cult reasons?
Yeah, it's like we got, we have Blucifer. Pretty much everybody knows Blucifer, right? Everybody, I think most people out there know that the demon horse at the Denver airport exists. But many people are just learning for the first time that there's also a demon goat.
I'm a first timer.
I always thought the bear was harmless. Now I think the bear is nefarious too.
Yeah. The bear, I think, psychologically represents, they want you to, when you walk through the airport, to make you feel in fear. In the airport. Oh, it's not?
Yeah, no. He's let me show you. Hang on a second. I see what you see, or I see what you mean. You mean Denver art. Yeah, so this is what this guy looks like.
Oh, yeah. It's still scary as all get up.
Yeah, no, right? I've never been scared of him. He always seemed interesting to me,
nice like bear.
That can be art. And Denver is very artsy, right? There's sculptures everywhere. There's all sorts of weird shit, weird constructed buildings. It's a very artsy kind of, before all the communism viewed itself as more of kind of a cultural center.
I need to see a close up of his face. This determines a lot. Is he happy, like Winnie the Pooh, or does he got like fangs and like, like?
No, he doesn't really have features. He's more abstract. I'm looking to see if they do a face shot.
That's pretty wild.
Let's see, because I think you can only really see his face from inside the building. Let's see if there's any pictures with that shot of it. Oh yeah, here. Well, I don't know that this gives us what we want specifically, but let's see if we can get.
He
doesn't really have features.
Yeah, I see. I see what you mean. See?
Weird. Yeah. That's probably like one of the best shots.
Oh. Well,
Yeah. So, I live here.
It can be taken either way. But the goat head, I'm telling you, there's no mistaking that one.
The bear, even the horse, right? Because, Denver is the Broncos. Now it's a Mustang. I feel like I've been fact checked on this before, but I didn't care enough to retain the information. Like a Mustang and a Bronco. I always said, well, aren't those two different horses? And I think someone corrected me on that. Someone Farmy will know in the chat whether that's true or not, or we can Google it in a second. But
something weird, like the fourth horseman or something. Like that.
The demon eyes is always what's bothered me. Even before I knew that it crushed its creator, it always creeped me out that it had red eyes. Like why not just have lighted eyes? Like why do they have to be like super creepy demon red? And it's creepy looking always, but at night when you can like see its demon eyes, that's always bothered me about it. The bear never bothered me, but because now the bear I'm questioning anew because of this thing.
Mm-hmm. It's like when they were making, like the other ones are like, oh, this is a little questionable, this could be anything. This one's like,
Yeah.
You want a little painting with your Satanism? Like, it's like straight up, like, no, that's like,
Pretty
you can't
much.
hide that.
It's
You
just
can't.
art, Abby.
Yes.
Like,
art.
what is wrong with you?
Beautiful
It's
goat
just
heads.
art. It's a symbol of our nation at one of our premier Space Force bases. Because this is what I mean, who sold the idea?
Exactly.
We don't get to know. It's all very hush hush. But
The other thing
yeah.
is, like, it really looks like it's losing its eyes. Like, one eye is like up like this.
They
One,
are
you know
weird.
what I mean?
They're heroes
It's
for
whacking
this.
out, man. It's
Do
a
one of these.
voodoo goat.
See how big we can get the. There you go. We can do a real examination there.
It's horrid.
Yeah.
It looks sick.
Yeah. So,
Gross.
that's what I mean when I say, I live in a different country. I would like to move to America.
It's wild, man. I feel that way. Yeah. And it's like when you do have eyes to see, like I was saying earlier, it's like the cult stuff. They never went away. They kind of went in hiding. But now what I've noticed over probably the last maybe 10, 15 years, they've really come out, in the movies, in the music videos. They're always quite literally dancing out ritual practices or sacrifices, like Lady Gaga. It's like what,
Lady
so you actually
Gaga,
see
Billie
it.
Eilish, Taylor Swift. I mean, some of these girls' lyrics are incredibly disturbing, and I hadn't paid much attention to it until I went to Italy with my best friend, and we were road tripping, so we did like a lot of music, and I listened to a lot of music that I otherwise would not have listened to. Very kind of girly pop stuff. And so like from listening to Taylor Swift's new album, the Tortured Poets one, like my takeaway after listening to that album several times was someone needs to check on her. The songs on the latter half of that album seem to be like her regretting selling her soul and not being able to change her fate. And it's pretty on the nose. Like, I'm not even reading into it to get there. And that music is targeted to kids, so that's cool.
Mm-hmm. That's so sad. Man, that's so sad. They destroy so many lives.
Renee says, Ash, you could move to Oklahoma or Texas like everyone else. I probably wouldn't move to Texas. I think a state that bans a plant does not have a right to call itself free. But Oklahoma, I'll probably also wouldn't move to. But the people that I meet from Oklahoma seem to be very well adjusted as compared to the other states.
Nice.
There's something there's something to Oklahoma. There's something in the water, maybe, or
something in the water,
or something not in the water.
In the water.
So we're now 30 minutes in, and we haven't touched the show plan yet. But that was required. It was important that you understood that we don't just have Lucifer. We have 3 blue entities, and everyone openly acknowledges that it's a ritual for the occult. And it's
there we go.
I think, there was this other thing. Like, it was right around the same time that I learned about the 3rd blue entity, which I feel like was last summer. I wish Katie was in the chat because she'd know exactly what it was. But when I learned about that, why was I? Oh, there was a paranormal circus that set up. I live pretty close to a fairgrounds. And my son was his football practices were over there at the fairgrounds. So I was over there, and there was like overnight, popped up a circus. The tent structure looked very similar to the Denver airport. It was like white pointy things. I think I have a picture of it on my phone. I'll look in a second. But that, paranormal circus. So I looked up there, online what they were all about. And it was like, the freak show. There's mysteries and mystical stuff and occult stuff and all this kind of stuff in a traveling circus coming to a town near you.
See, it's so weird that you just mentioned that, though, like specifically with the tents. because I will not get into this because we do not have the time, but I've had a recurring dream since I was young, and it's insane. And there are a point in this dream, and this was when I was young, and I had never seen Denver Airport. This didn't even exist. And these were a big important part in that dream. And it had to do like with world stuff. And it had those same weird pointy tits.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah. And
I
so
don't
like
know,
during the
man.
day, let me see if there's a during the day photo, because during the day it's white. Yeah, like you can see it's kind of like, but
But then they're
this
making
one
it
is
red,
wait, yeah.
which is just as
That
creepy.
first one, I don't know where the first one went. This one. This looks this could have been taken at the fairgrounds by my house. This is exactly what it looked like. These are white and black. The red lights you can't see during the day, but this is what it looks like. Now, if folks haven't seen the Denver airport, and that would be an interesting dig, like what is the significance of
So you want
that?
something crazy?
Yeah, always.
At the Denver airport, that stuff that is stretched out, it is specifically made that radar from above cannot look through.
Oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So take a good look at this and imagine that they're white with these like, lighted looking things on the end. And then this is the Denver airport.
Yeah.
So that was just, interesting to me. But we live in interesting times. So this came out today, and we were going to talk about the fact that Klaus Schwab is under investigation. He's, I think it's basically embezzling that he's accused of with him and his family.
She was going off having parties and stuff. No, basically it was using World Economic Forum money, I think, for personal affairs.
And he was in charge of this thing for 55 years. Like since the beginning, like he's the guy, and now he's under investigation. It's like in 55 years, nobody else looked. That's interesting. So this is from the Capital Research Center, who dubs themselves America's investigative think tank. I think Badlands could give you a run for your money. Davos is not so great self-reset. Kind of love that. This the caption on this photo is a poster with World Economic Forum director Klaus Schwab hangs in the Netherlands. And it says, "The Great Reset. You will own nothing and you will be happy."
Exactly. Haven't you
Winter
got it yet?
is coming for you and your family. So he resigned, and then they said that they were, amid allegations that he used organizations' property for personal benefit. Great Reset and Great Narrative, Schwab and the WEF promoted to advance environmental, social, and governance activism in the post-COVID era are in retreat. And this is going to get so much fun to talk about in a few minutes when we get into the water and energy section. But like I said, this came out today, so I want to give it a little bit of attention. Not too long ago, with the COVID-19 pandemic raging, the lockdown regime entrenching, liberal Democrat Joe Biden having evicted populist Republican Donald Trump from the White House, and social media chiefs agreeing to circumscribe debate at the urging of government officials, World Economic Forum Chairman Klaus Schwab could dream of a progressive environmental, social, governance, ESG, great reset sweeping the world. But COVID-19 receded. The lockdown regime was thrown down. President Trump returned, and Trump ally Elon Musk bought Twitter, now rebranded as X. And as if to cap the end of his dream of the Great Reset in service of the Great Narrative, Schwab has exited as the head of the WEF, best known for putting on the annual Davos meeting of international business people and government officials who sometimes appear super villainous. I'm going to pause there for a second because WEF is, I guess, best known for Davos. Most people know the WEF as Davos. But if you think about when, I don't know if they if it's not this way still in my kids' schools, but remember when we were coming up and you had parent night? And you had the artwork that was shown, and you talk to the people. That's what Davos is. These MFers work all year round in collaboration with their friends at the think tanks, the friends at the audit firms and professional services firms and, corporate think tanks. They're friends in the corporations. In lockstep, they drive the agenda of really the UN and the Sustainable Development Goals Agenda 30, drive that agenda down through every institution, every company in every industry, in every sector, in every geography in the world. That's what the WEF should be known for, is that they
Mother
are
Wefers.
actually, in a big way, they are the real government, and they're, through money and influence, they're able to subjugate the people with the on paper power. I'll pause there and let you respond before we keep going.
No, 100%. I had thought about this before. It's pretty darn attractive when you see like people rise up and influence things like global, let's say the COVID lockdowns, influence things like that, and they didn't even have to be elected.
Yeah.
Like that's attractive, right? If I was an evil global leader or like just a leader and I saw this happening, like, hey, I want to get in on some of that, right? It's pretty insane when you think about it. They're not voted in. They were never elected. They just rose up and they're making decisions that we have to abide by. Hard pass.
Well, yeah. And their real power lies in the ability to move markets, to shift the trajectory of the, every company in every industry in every sector, because the World Economic Forum has, just like we talk about with public-private partnerships in the US and the subsector coordinating councils, and you get across the 50 states, the elections people together, and that's the elections people in the government and in the NGOs and in the vendors, the election technology companies, the test lab people, the best practices and standard setting EAC, all of these people come together and freaking collude.
Yep.
And then they say, oh, well, it's, this is consensus. And it's like, but you picked everybody in the room. You can't just say that you have consensus, but that's what they do on a macro level at the World Economic Forum. And it's not just like at Davos. Davos is the night they all prepare for, right? You get everything in, but what you want to happen at Davos is you want your opinion. This is the most benevolent reading of it. You want your opinion, whatever think tank you are, you want your opinion papers to be the ones that are picked up. You want the professional services firms, specifically the consultancies, to build your opinions and the worldview that's going to give you the most benefit into their service offerings, so that when they go back and they're selling a cloud project, they're selling a cloud project with ESG features. And that's how you change the world. And that is how they've changed the world up to this point. So let's read a little bit more of this. Nonprofit malgovernance. The cause of Schwab's departure from the organization he founded is not a late in life acknowledgement that he was wrong about everything, according to press reports. The Wall Street Journal reported that the WEF placed Schwab under investigation after a new whistleblower letter alleged financial and ethical misconduct by the longtime leader and his wife. If the allegations are substantiated, and the Schwabs deny them, misconduct would be a classical case of a nonprofit executive at a highly prominent organization deciding to stick his hand in his donor's cookie jar. Well, that sounds like something that happens all the time. That sounds like the non-governmental organization business model.
Yep.
Let's see. Schwab's exit is unlikely to reorient the World Economic Forum in a more sovereignty and shareholder-friendly direction, but those like Glenn Beck, who feared a dark future brought on by Schwab's Great Reset, are likely to see the true believers in WEF-style globalist environmentalism disappointed all the same. You'd love to hear it. ESG activism in corporate boardrooms is in retreat, facing regulatory threats from the second Trump administration, public backlash to ESG policies, and interest rate hikes that have made paying for ESG appeasing policies more expensive for corporate leaders. The realities of environmentalist energy transition are not. This is like so timely. Right. And this was published today.
Yes.
Super timely. The realities of environmentalist energy transition are not living up to the promises of infinite zero emission or net zero energy, too cheap to meter in a world where people will own nothing and be happy. And global governance is as non-existent as it always was, with a protracted war in Eastern Europe, ongoing conflicts throughout the Middle East, and tensions heating up in Kashmir, the Taiwan Strait, the South China Sea, and other global hotspots. With his vision in retreat, Klaus Schwab is gone. The World Economic Forum and its vision of global governance in the service of champagne and caviar environmentalism remain, but they cannot command the world. And for that, we can be thankful. Shout out to Michael Watson. This article was an anniversary present. That was delightful. Thank you. I love the idea that globalism is collapsing and it's not going to recover, but I think that that's naive because communists never go away.
Yeah, they will continue. That's the lame thing, but we have eyes that see now, so I don't think that they'll be able to do that strong foothold. The secret invading that, or what's the word, subversion, when we didn't see them coming in and they were slowly just making their way into our schools and this, that. I think we see it now. We understand climate change is a hoax. We understand these things. We know what they did with COVID. So yeah, I think they're gonna try though. And this new guy he's worse, I think, than Klaus. Do you want me to go into it?
Let's go. Take it away. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, obviously, as you know, Klaus Schwab was on a very selfish mission to have you guys accept that you will own nothing and you will be happy. Well, this guy believes that maybe you shouldn't have any access to water. So it's a different switch, but it's kind of almost worse when you really dig into it. So this new leader, his name is Peter Barbeck, and I have a snippet of him from this documentary called "We Feed the World." But the documentary itself,
we will feed them the bugs.
There's a time
and water at 6 a.m. and 4 p.m. Abby, not a moment before or after. I have no idea what that accent is.
This guy, though,
like
later
German,
on, I think
British.
I can go to it. He actually has a recommended amount that we should be allotted that people can have that could be free, but the rest needs to be charged. But they just decided nobody votes on this. This is just like a global thing. It's like, holy crap. But so I'm going to play this clip of him. This clip was going around on X, but it was a shorter clip.
His eye looks like it exploded, or is that every video of him lately?
No, I don't have a video of that.
I'll try to find it.
But he still looks creepy. He still looks creepy. So check this out, guys. This is an older video from 2005.
I do not like my eye.
You will be very, very happy.
Mein Name ist Peter Brabeck, ich komme aus Villach in Kärnten und bin seit jetzt 7 Jahren Verantwortlicher der Nestle-Gruppe, des größten Lebensmittelkonzerns der Welt, mit einem Umsatz von ungefähr 90 Milliarden Schweizer Franken oder ungefähr 65 Milliarden Dollar und mit ungefähr 275.000 Mitarbeitern, die bei uns direkt arbeiten. Also insgesamt ein relativ großes Schiff. Wir sind die 27 größte Firma der Welt. Wir glauben heute zum Beispiel, dass alles, was Natur ist, ist gut. Es ist ein riesiger Wandel, weil eigentlich bis vor kurzem haben wir immer gelernt, dass die Natur sehr unerbitterlich ist. Der Mensch ist jetzt in der Lage, der Natur etwas an Gleichgewicht zu geben. Und trotzdem kommen wir jetzt in so eine fast Versinnbildlichung, dass alles, was von der Natur kommt, ist gut. Gutes Beispiel ist Bio. Bio ist jetzt das Beste. Ja? Bio ist nicht das Beste. Nach 15 Jahren Verzehr von gentechnologischen Lebensmitteln ist in den USA bis jetzt noch kein einziger, nicht einmal ein Krankheitsfall aufgetreten. Und trotzdem sind wir in Europa so beunruhigt, dass uns irgendetwas passieren kann. Also auch dort ist mehr Heuchelei als sonst irgendwas. Ja, es gibt auch ja bei uns ein schönes Lied, Wasser braucht das liebe Vieh, Hollerei und Hollerie, wenn Sie sich erinnern können. Also Wasser ist natürlich das wichtigste Rohmaterial, das wir heute noch auf der Welt haben. Es geht darum, ob wir das normale Wasserversorgung der Bevölkerung privatisieren oder nicht. Und da gibt es zwei verschiedene Anschauungen. Die eine Anschauung, extrem würde ich sagen, wird von einigen von den NGOs vertreten, die darauf pochen, dass Wasser zu einem öffentlichen Recht erklärt wird. Das heißt, als Mensch sollten Sie einfach Recht haben, um Wasser zu haben. Das ist die eine Extremlösung. Das ist die eine Extremlösung. Ja? Und die andere, die sagt, Wasser ist ein Lebensmittel, so wie jedes andere Lebensmittel sollte das einen Marktwert haben. Ich persönlich glaube, es ist besser, man gibt einem Lebensmittel einen Wert, sodass wir alle bewusst sind, dass das etwas kostet und dann anschließend versucht, dass man mehr spezifisch für diesen Teil der Bevölkerung, der keinen Zugang zu diesem Wasser hat, dass man dann dort etwas spezifischer eingreift und da gibt es ja verschiedene Möglichkeiten. Also.
Okay. So to be clear,
You will
later
get
on-
no water, Abby. You don't get no water.
well, it's
bye,
true
bye.
though. So he goes on, like, from this documentary, there's a lot of propaganda. Like, you follow just one African family that had to get water from a mud pool. And that's why we need to control the water, is because this one African family is dying. The traditional. Okay. Well, he goes on, like, the whole video goes on to say, basically, should the government or should governance control water because certain people need it more, certain people are using too much of it, and we know what's best. Like, pretty much global control, like what you think it is. So he just said, just to highlight that, the one opinion, which I think is extreme, is represented by NGOs who bang on about declaring water as a public right. That means as a human being, you should have a right to water. That is an extreme solution.
That's
So it's
not
like,
what he's saying, though. And I don't want to have to defend the Nazi. So, like, just FYI, I'm being forced into that position at the moment. But here's the thing. Water is a human right. Humans need water to survive. Water is a human right. Water delivery from a water source into a society or into your home requires the labor of others. Therefore, it cannot be a human right. And you can't conflate those two things, because the total governmental control of the water supply is, we can turn it off, we can turn it on, like the energy we're seeing in Europe right now, right? But by declaring water a public right, that gets you to that point. It gets you to the point where it's all nationalized. Your water infrastructure system, all of that is nationalized. And then it's going to turn into shit because the government doesn't do anything effectively. And if you look at, like, one of the best examples of this, and I know it's a theatrical retelling, but is Chernobyl. Did you see the Chernobyl miniseries? That was, I think it was on HBO. So my biggest takeaway from that, and it was an entertaining series, I would recommend people watch it, but is the power of the communist mind control within the party, right? There, you didn't want to lose your credit points, your brownie points, by waving the flag that there might be something wrong. There's no incentives to excel. There's no incentives to go above and beyond things. It is a very kind of, lowest common denominator. This is the basics of what's expected of me. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm not going to rock the boat because I might piss off the wrong party member above me, and then I can end up in the gulag. And that is that comes to life in the miniseries, in the context of there is a disaster and you see a lot of people not take critical steps that they must take. So even if the way it's being told is bullshit, which I'm totally open to, right? It's a theatrical retelling of Chernobyl. The story that's told through that miniseries is a good one to understand why this adherence to party, and we see this more and more in our own government. It should be alarming to everyone that there's 435 representatives, but there's really only 2 choices on any matter. That should be very concerning to people, but that's the power of the party. Every once in a while you get the Freedom Caucus or the, MAPS caucus and the left, you get them, we're going to get tough and force the issue on something that they care about. Like, when they had the 2 baby moms, Anna Paulina Luna and Brittany Pedersen, when their breastfeeding stunt.
Yes.
Stuff. Like every once in a while, they'll think their heads will be like, we're super legislators. Look at us. But at the end of the day, it comes down to the 2 parties. That's where the power is. And that's the level of power that we're seeing if this continues. And in blue states, it just is that way. It just do be that way. In Colorado, for example, they will all fall in line with their party. And when they don't fall in line, there's a Democrat representative out here. I won't mention her name because I think it would hurt her street cred if people knew that I admired her. But she's a Democrat, and she broke with the party on multiple sessions in a row, broke with the party on the mandatory minimums for sexual offenders, specifically people that buy children for sex. The Communist Party here in Colorado, which it's the one that controls the government, they are they are committed to reformative justice. So pedophiles are actually victims because most of them were abused too. And so we have to be really careful when we want to hold them accountable for something like raping a child because they were victims too. That's the mindset that governs. And that's like, I really think it's Yuri Bezmenov type stuff. Right?
Mm-hmm.
There, create as much division, destabilization. You can fracture them. The nation will fall. If you can create that kind of chaos, that's what we see.
It's a powerful tactic, 100%. Your mind is so brilliant, Ash. I love just how you can just see it. I see the spider webs. I see it all connected. I'm like, yes, exactly. But yeah, so I think one key point
that I'm living in the midst of it. I think it's not just theoretical. I'm not just guessing at things. I'm watching them occur, and it's disturbing.
Yes, it is. So back to the water is the concept here that I was trying to that I was coming across is there's water infrastructure, money needed for that or people ownership and investors and this and that and governments. I get it, but then there's also just water, like the physical water. And I think where he kind of dives into is that type of control where we actually control the water based on the people's needs, and then what's not a, what do you call it, not a necessary, they use it in COVID all the time, not essential. Not essential. Yeah. So it's insane. But there you go. That's World Economic Forum for you.
The thing is, before you get into this guy a little bit more, the thing that listening to him talk about solving the problems of water access, my reaction to that is, why the hell do we need you at all? We don't actually. We don't need the NGO infrastructure in the middle of the people who have the ability to develop water resources on probably private, but maybe public lands, and the people that will benefit from those services. We don't need a globalist engine sitting in between that free exchange. So the Great Reset failed. We read that article, right? We're watching the death rattle. It's imploding on itself, but they're still trying to figure out a way where they get to be the ones calling the shots, even though everything that they've done led to the freaking world breaking. They want another at bat where they get to keep their power and get a do-over. Absolutely not.
Freaking preach it.
Absolutely not. You broke the world. You don't get
Ash,
another chance.
They want the water. Okay. This is how they're going to do. This is the next crisis, by the way.
We didn't break the world. We optimized it.
Optimized it. All right. So, guys, this is, I'm not going to go through the whole thing because of time reasons, but I'm going to highlight some interesting things I found about him. So, he was born during World War II. So it says he kind of, or at the end of it. So he has the understanding and that perspective shaped, who he is. And this part was very interesting. So it says adventurous youth. Raised near the Swiss Alps, he developed a passion for mountaineering, climbing with ropes by age 10. As a teenager, he undertook long overnight hikes, and with his friend Hans Thomson, a tragic 1967 climbing expedition to Trench Mir in Pakistan, where Thomson and another friend died after falling, profoundly impacted him, teaching him about risk and loss.
I think you pushed them.
I'm so sorry.
Did you go there too? Did your mind go there too?
That's what I did. I thought, grab
I think we
Zemo.
probably all did. All right. What kind of power and resources did the dead kids have? And how did he end up getting them at the end of the story?
Exactly.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So I'll kind of skip through this a little faster. But so he graduated with a degree in economics from the University of World Trade in Vienna. Okay. So equipping him for a strong business career. Now, this is very interesting here. Brebeck spent his entire professional career with Nestle, joining in 1968 and rising to become one of its most influential leaders. His tenure was defined by strategic restructuring, cost-cutting, and global expansion, transforming Nestle into a dominant force in the food industry. By the way, this guy's like pretty much sold his soul to Nestle, by the way. He literally worked
Nestle.
there. Oh, sorry, Nestle.
Yeah, like the all the Nestle's a massive food company.
Yes,
You think of like Nestle Quick is was my favorite product that they make, right? Strawberry flavored Quick. It's delightful. I would still drink a glass to this day.
With the bunny
massive foodstuffs. You heard him talk about we should treat water the same way as other foodstuffs. Well, they do, right? Nestle is a massive bottled water functional unit. Yeah.
All right. So this is really funny. It says,
Barbara Mars says baby formula too. Yes. Huge industry.
See, and you see all those things that one giant mega corporation controls.
While you're reading through this, I'm going to pull up the map of what's included in Nestle.
Oh, nice. Okay. So early roles in 1968. And guys, we need to make like an AI image of this because it's so good. In 1968, he joined Nestle Australia through the Findus Frozen Foods division as an ice cream salesman, driving a freezer truck around the Alps. This humble start gave him insight into the human side of business.
Nope.
Yeah. We have to like put his face on it.
Just a humble ice cream salesman. And now he's the head of the World Economic Forum. Nope.
So he spent 10 years here in a decade in Chile, initially as a national sales manager. He worked his way up through marketing. I'll kind of skip through this. He transferred to Nestle's international headquarters in Vevey, Switzerland as a senior vice president in charge of the culinary products division, overseeing global operations. So you see as he's expanding in this. This is also important. He was promoted to executive vice president, responsible for strategic business groups, food, pasta, chocolate, ice cream, pet food, and industrial products, and worldwide marketing. So this guy's got investments, okay? Like he's not just some guy like, I want to control the water for the good of humanity. Like
Carnation, which makes nutritional supplement materials as well as the traditional milk-based products. So they make a lot of different canned milks, powdered milks, that kind of stuff. You've got Nestle Pure Life Water, Nestea, Callier. What's Callier? Switzerland's oldest chocolate brand. Libby's is canned foods. So this is like your entire Thanksgiving dinner, pretty much, except the meat. And I'm sure he's invested there as well. Aquapana, that's a bottled water company. It's very big in Europe. Contracts is French mineral water. So he's got that's 3 water companies that we've got on the list so far. Gerber Baby, Milo cereal. It looks like that one kind of looks like Kellogg's, but I don't think it is. Magi, what is that?
Oh, Toll
Liquid
House.
bouillon.
I know. I get those chocolate chips.
Yep. Nestle Toll House. Yep. Boost. So the nutritional supplement drinks, with like the heavy calorie stuff. Coffee, Starbucks at home coffee, Lion Brand, Stouffer's, Nescafe. Nescafe is a massive coffee company in Europe. Like how we have like Keurig and everybody has Keurig pods for their Keurigs. Pretty much that's Nescafe in Europe. Nesquik. So pretty impactful when you think about the stuff that he oversees.
It's crazy.
We just put the bugs inside the chocolates. You won't even notice the bugs in the chocolate.
They do that apparently with crickets. Oh, I've never done it. I never want to do it. Parasites. That's the one word. Parasites.
I have zero desire to eat bugs. Like I will live off of like rice and find a way to not get scurvy or whatever. But I'm not eating bugs. I'm not doing it. Amen. If I was starving, I would eat bugs. Every single one of us would.
Well, before we ate,
but they want to get us to they want us to like choose bugs. Like, we could have beef jerky or like chocolate covered crickets. I'm never choosing the bugs ever.
They don't have any omega-3s. That's it. Omega-3 is in all the meat, and you need it to literally grow your brain. So take that.
Meat
with
is
your
good
sandwich,
for you. And it's delicious also.
Definitely. All right, so I'll go through this real quick. It just shows how insanely involved this guy is in everything. So growth and efficiency. He transformed Nestle into the fastest growing food company in a slow growth sector by acquiring leading brands, Ralston Purina, for pet food in 2001 to 2002, divesting unperforming ones, Findus Frozen Foods, Hills Brothers Coffee, and cutting costs. He closed 38 factories, saving $1.6 billion and improved volume discounts through centralized purchasing. Okay, he saved some money, but man, he closed 38 factories. Yeah. I don't know if I'd want to be like, this is what I did. Close them down.
Here are my accomplishments. We saved some money, but also we have a whole lot more poor people because we took all their jobs and moved their industry out of their
it's crazy. Actually, we'll get to that with the water. So I'll read this part. I'll go down and read this one other part. We'll play a video as well. But so market expansion. He oversaw Nestle's entry into bottled water and a joint venture with L'Oreal for nutritional beauty supplements. He maintained a commitment to local manufacturing by Nestle's national organizations. So this guy is huge. He became involved in the World Economic Forum, as you see. He was a vice chairman, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Now, there's controversial views on this man. So in 2005 documentary, the one that we just watched, he says what he said and how the concept of owning or water being free is extreme, right? And so right here he said
water being declared a public right was extreme.
Or a public right. A public right. Correct. And arguing that water should be treated as an economic good, particularly for non-essential uses like agriculture, which consumes 98.5% of fresh water. But agriculture is also our food. So he's saying we want to tax pretty much the farmers and everybody, I'm assuming a water tax or something, because it's not essential. But
it's like that's how it works now here, right? You have your city taxes, and I mean, some people have they have a well, and they're tapped into well water for their house, so they have a different setup. But for most, folks where I live, you're tapped into the city's water, and your city taxes go to pay for the water, and then you also pay a ton of money for water.
Right. Exactly. Which is crazy, but I get it. And that's why it's a good topic, because it does make you think about how should we view water. And actually the videos of him talking, you'll kind of get more of a feel to how he feels about that. But one important part I wanted to show right here, he goes, water should be treated as an economic good, particularly for non-essential uses like agriculture, which consumes 98.5% of fresh water. He suggested that only 50 to 100 liters of clean water per day are needed for essential human needs, and the rest should be priced to reduce waste.
Yeah.
Now, what defines essential human needs? Well, he actually has it down here to 50 to 100 liters. You're being limited here. How do you feel about that?
So again, I wonder why we need him at all. Why do we need that layer of governance in between, in the exchange of people's labor to establish and maintain, a proper water supply, and the people that are the beneficiaries of that water supply? That should not require. So, he's not even just like talking about, say, he sounds German. No, he's Swiss, right? So not even
He's
just talking about
he's Swiss. Yes.
sure. Yeah. Swiss. We're not talking about just fixing water issues there. He's talking about globally. Why the hell is this a global issue that requires global governance? Global governance is just communism, and they want to push the standards and norms and acceptable conduct for the globe, for all of the peoples in all of the communities, with all of the nationalities and different identities and different ways of doing things and different ways of figuring things out. They want to figure out, how can we control this from a global standpoint? Oh, I know, standards and best practices, and we'll get all of our friends in the powerful positions within these different institutions. That's what's happened.
Yes.
That's what's happening. But I do agree. I think that if we get to the point where we're like, water is a public right, everybody has a right to have water pumped into their home, and nobody should have to pay, that's a disaster. And the reason it's a disaster is because you cannot compel people's labor. You have to pay them for their labor. And the system, the way that it is now, is that you have a whole bunch of NGOs and a whole bunch of there's standards companies or entities, right? And, professionals, the professional accreditation of water professionals, and whatever. Like, they have all of these layers that inhibit, at the end of the day, they're erected in the name of safety. We have to make sure the water supply is safe and secure. Also a very good thing. Big fan of having a safe and secure water supply. Don't mistake me. But you have to do all these different studies, and you have to get these different NGOs involved, and you have to get all these different things involved. And then you have also, at the same time, in America, which is not what I think Creepy Guy is talking about, but here in America, you have I lost what I was going to say. I hate it when that happens. I was a very specific kind of water NGO, but it wasn't an NGO. Like the testing labs and all of those kinds of things. There's all of this infrastructure. That's all people giving their labor to make sure that the water supply is safe and secure. Somebody has to pay for that. Mm-hmm. And the answer in America can't be the government pays for that, because the government is us. So if we're going to pay for that, we need to decide that we're going to pay for that. We have, as a society, decided that we're going to fund water infrastructure. But I think because most people don't think about it, in most places, certainly in the Colorado Front Range, if you go turn on your faucet, your water comes on. If you haven't paid your bill in a long time, it might not. But for the most part, if you turn your faucet on, the water will come out. And people don't think about the amount of human labor that goes in to make clean water come into the homes. That's a private model. There are government standards, there's government oversight, there's government regulations and requirements, but the company that you're paying each month to deliver water into your house is a private entity for the most part, right?
Right.
Some places it's it's a government entity.
But that's such a good point because that leads into this thing. Okay, so he created the Water Resource Group, and it involved people exactly what you just described, Ash, the private industries that do all that stuff for the water. And okay, so actually, okay, first let me read this part. This is basically the naughty things he's done, and then we're going to check out the Water Resource Group and just look at how they word what they're doing. So Nestle's practices. Under his leadership, Nestle acquired water extraction rights across the North America, drawing large volumes from public lands, springs, and aquifers, sometimes exceeding legal limits. This led to accusations of depleting local water supplies, leaving communities without access. And critics argue that Nestle's profited by bottling and selling free-flowing water at a markup, which they did. Okay, and so now that takes us to this. So like it's been shown that he's done this and he's making money off of it. And now he comes into the World Economic Forum. And the big thing is that we're going to have a water crisis. We're going to have a water crisis. Well, if you invested in water, that's going to be really nice and dandy for you. It's going to pay off a lot. So this is what it says about the Water Resource Group that he started. His leadership of this group, which promotes public-private partnerships for water management, is seen by some as a continuation of his privatization agenda. He has emphasized water scarcity as a more urgent issue than climate change. Well, he's fighting with the climate change people, advocating for government-private sector collaboration. Now, exactly what Ash was talking about. So let's go check it out. This is the website. The thing that really catches me here is the wording. We have 2030, which is a common thing we see. It's like their deadline that they want to meet. 2030.
It used to be Agenda 21. Back when I was in the Tea Party, and Alex Jones was talking about Agenda 21, and it's the same stuff. They just needed more time, I guess.
Yep, it is the same. And I used to call it Agenda 21 too, because they had the 21 global goals that we must meet. All right, so it says advancing global water security through public-private collaboration. I also want you guys to note this up here. World Bank Group. This kind of stands out. We work with governments, corporations, and civil society to address water risks affecting food, cities, and ecosystems by offering strategic insights, fostering collaboration, and securing financing. We help scale solutions that deliver lasting impact. All right, so we're going to go to this next part. And it takes us here. Partner with 2030 Water Resource Group. 2030 Water Resource Group provides a unique opportunity for organizations to ensure their investments in water security. Do you like how I highlighted? I ended it there because this is what's really happening. They're investing in water. Water security have maximum impact. We invite participation via the Governing Council Steering Board or multiple stakeholder platforms. For more information, please reach out. Okay. This is the last of it. I'll just read these parts here. The Governing Council is WRG's highest governing body, comprised of senior executives from leading corporations, multilateral organizations, development, finance institution, and governments, like the whole world. Participation in the Governing Council allows partners to help shape global water security initiatives. Okay, so that's interesting. Members contribute to global governance and financing discussions that can align their organizational priorities. Okay. Steering the future of water. Members gain insight into emerging water projects, contributing to the development and positioning them for success at scale. It almost feels like a little like insider trading. They're like, oh yeah, this guy from, he's a representative. He knows that this is going down, whatever, invest here because this is going to go down. Right. So it's telling them that they're going to have this inside scoop.
It's definitely, Abby, it's definitely insider trading when you're setting the strategy and you know exactly where it's going and you're messaging those changes to the public with a bunch of bullshit that's detached from reality, but you actually know where it's going, but your plan is, 5 to 10 years in the future. So you're not likely not going to be held accountable for the fact that you're insider trading. But absolutely, I would say it's not synonymous with insider trading, but it is a feature of this global governance model that you will have insider trading. And that's the macro global view. At the micro view, just look at Nancy Pelosi.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's just like knowing that the stage will be set, knowing that they're I feel like gonna make a problem. I have a prediction there's gonna be a water problem, and then there's going to be a solution to the water problem. And it just so happens that they're all strategically placed exactly where they need to be to make a ton of money off of it. We'll see. That's obviously to come if it happens. But so it says this platform allows organizations to shape how water solutions are implemented across regions, aligning corporate and other partner interests with broader water security goals and strengthening their role in addressing global water challenges. Partners involved in country level platforms work alongside government representatives to co-develop practical solutions that align with national priorities. What do you think about that?
I think that they're not allowed to have national priorities. They have to have their nations have to bend the knee to Agenda 2030. And
Exactly.
that's actually a good transition to what's going on with this energy thing. So this morning when I woke up and eventually got onto X, I saw Joey Manorino's post about Spain and the power being out in Spain. This is Joey at Joey Manorino US on X. We're officially in the rolling electricity blackout phase of Agenda 2030. Of course, Spain would be where it begins since they literally have Agenda 2030 plastered all over their trains. I took this in 2023 and was in utter shock. So that's not terribly surprising. But one of the things about this story that I think is kind of funny, so Bloomberg, this is just from a couple weeks ago, April 11th. This article is fun. Is from Spain's nuclear shutdown set to test renewables success story. So this was a couple weeks ago. Hang on, let me pull in the archive. Hold for processing.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll see if we have to do we have to pick all the buses? I hate it when it's buses. Oh, it's motorcycles this time.
Nice. I just love you.
Oh, it didn't like me there.
Like I've been here before.
Hills or mountains? Let's see. That could be a
The
hill.
hills are
That could be a
alive.
hill. There we go. I technically would not call any of those hills. Spain's nuclear shutdown is set to test renewables success story. Plans to shut down all nuclear power plants by 2035 remain unchanged, even as other countries delay closures and plan to build more. Spain is ignoring calls to reconsider its nuclear decommissioning plans, betting renewables and battery storage will make up. This is 2 weeks ago. Will make up for the upcoming energy shortfall. The country is plowing ahead with plans to shut down its 7 nuclear reactors, which currently contribute 20% of its power mix over the next decade. It's also set to close its last coal plant this year. While it's already only second to Germany in terms of renewable capacity in Europe, Spain is looking to fill the energy gap with more wind turbines, solar panels, and giant batteries. The strategy isn't completely fossil fuel free. It would rely on natural gas plants as a backup for the foreseeable future. It's apparently not going well because they don't have any power right now. Yeah, it's a substantial wager on clean power. It depends on a still nascent energy storage industry in Spain to rapidly expand from just 3 gigawatts of capacity today to a target of 20 gigawatts by 2030. It also requires unprecedented rollout of wind and solar over the next 5 years. Spain is targeting 81% power generation from renewables by the end of this decade. So that was 2 weeks ago. And then today, 2 weeks later, we have from the Telegraph, blackout risk made worse by net zero. Experts say reliance on solar and wind power risks making grid more vulnerable to outages. So obviously that's true. And what did they say? It was like 20%. Is it nuclear was 20%? So now they're at a 20% deficit if they're going to shut down their nuclear. Nobody can explain why they're shutting down nuclear power plants. No, there's really no answer to that except no, we're going all in on net zero because the creepy guy with the eye told us to. Which is pretty much what
you can't even hit net zero. If you hit net zero, we're dead. Like,
yeah,
I don't think people understand that. You need to have that's how the plants grow. Idiots. Like, I don't get it. I never got it. Freaking nuts.
It's just,
but yeah,
interesting. It's because for the big corporations, it's, well, we're going to keep polluting, but we can buy offsets for that. And as long as everybody on the planet changes their behavior and stops driving cars and stops eating meat and stops going outside, except when we tell them to, and uses their allotted, they stay within their allotted amount of water and bugs that we give them each day. Then we can keep polluting. That's basically what we're being told. We are running out of time.
We get in trouble for it.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got this from our buddy Jordan Sather, fellow Badlander. Are these power outages in Europe today related to the cyber attack? Maybe a false flag cyber attack? Curious, since the World Economic Forum has been warning about cyber attacks for the last few years. This is only 34 seconds.
Pay insufficient attention to the frightening scenario of a comprehensive cyber attack, which would bring to a complete halt to the power supply, transportation, hospital services, our society as a whole. The COVID-19 crisis would be seen in this respect as a small disturbance in comparison to a major cyber attack.
That was like the biggest fear porn I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Shout out to Jordan Sather. So I've covered water on this show several times in the 99 episodes without you. And one of a couple of the episodes that I think kind of connect the two ideas, right? There's not necessarily energy, but from a water standpoint and cyber attacks. The water supply in the United States of America, I don't know how much of this is true in Europe. Part of me thinks they might be further along. Part of me thinks they might be lagging on this front. But the water treatment plants and, where they clean the water and set the levels of things, add the fluoride, right? Like the water treatment plants are all digital. And they have IoT sensors in them to sense water levels and when things are low or high or whatever. They have been hacked. They were hacked in Pennsylvania. Was the substance that we talked about on this show. If you search the show notes on ashinamerica.substack.com for water, you'll find that show. But water is a human right. We have to protect access to it. It's very, very important that we make sure that everybody has that. Also, we need to tie in your access to water to the digital ecosystem. We need to have everything be reliant upon connected devices, because then we can do whatever the hell we want with your water supply. I think it's very, very interesting what we're seeing today with the energy. I think it's a gimme to say, well, they, committed to renewables and, were like they were really full of themselves 2 weeks ago when they were like, this is going to go great. And today nobody has power, right? Like it's hilarious. Sad for the people that don't have power. Anybody who's ever been without power, it sucks, right? It really sucks. So I hope the people of Europe get their power back soon if they haven't already, but that dependence is happening in kind of the entirety of the utility domain.
Oh yeah.
And that's
within the cities.
Yeah.
Within the cities. I think I was watching a documentary and it basically goes through each week without power, what would happen? What's the layout? What's week 2 like? What's week 3 like? It's like by week 3, if the power's out, the sewage starts backing up. You quite literally start getting disease, filth, no water. People start panicking. I mean, it's for real.
Those videos are crazy. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's for real, and this could happen. But it's interesting. Those came out earlier, and is it part of a programming to make us think like, oh, we can't survive? Truth is, we survived without power before.
Yeah.
Like the other half of way more of our existence on this planet. So, obviously it'd be tough. I've been without power, lived off grid quite a bit, even just living off generator power, turning it off. You can do it. You got to be set up for sure. But yeah, man, total fear.
Well, then think
feels
about
like
the social credit, right? Social credit
Yeah.
system. It's not just we can turn your access to your money off. It's we can turn your access to water and power off.
Air conditioning.
Yeah, all of it.
Your breather apparatus, your oxygen. Yeah, like trying to freak you out is crazy.
But we have to centrally control all of these things for your safety. Nope, not anymore. And you're, creepy eye dude. It's not happening. We're gonna fight you. We're gonna fight you super hard. The final topic, and we are just about out of time. Before we play this final video, actually, I'm gonna read the rants. We have a couple of Rumble rants. We love you guys. Thank you so much. We do not have any boost. If you're watching on replay and you'd like to support the show, you can head over to badlandsmedia.tv/boost. Look up Culture of Change and you can leave a message. We'll read it during next week's show if you're watching us on a delay. But for folks that are here, Wendy B. Smith 1, happy anniversary, Ash. And hey, Blue Eyes. Love you both so much.
Hey.
Thank you so much, Wendy. We love you too. Counterinsurgent, I'm not trying to buy your thoughts and prayers with a rant, but I could sure use some prayers. Surgery on Thursday. You got it. I'm actually.
Oh yeah, will do.
Yeah. But absolutely, hope everything goes well for you, and definitely let us know. D Patriot 1776, is there protein in the bugs? Well, yeah, but like just enough. Like a super balanced amount of protein that if you take it with your, one bottle of water that you get a day, you'll survive enough just to do the work camps, but you can't rise up. You won't have enough protein to be able to rise up and fight back is pretty much how that goes. And then ZBM, I wonder if the off brands are safer to consume or not. The best alternative to breast milk is goat's milk. That's very interesting. She said all good alternative to formula if you can't nurse or whatever. That's what I meant. Love the show, girls. Thank you so much. Yeah, off brands are often owned by the same company.
They play the game.
Kind of funny.
The illusion of choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And then coming in the last minute, Astro Emmy, thank you so much. Love you, ladies. Thanks for a great conversation. Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate that.
You.
And the boss has a show next. So I don't want to, I'm like trying to rush so I don't like creep into his time. But we are going to play one more video. And if we cut a little bit into their intro, I'm sure he'll be all right. This I love. We were going to do a whole golden age thing. It's 100 days. Tomorrow, I think, is the 100-day mark. The White House is doing 100 days week because there's just so many accomplishments to cover. Today, we did the border. Tomorrow, I think, is the economy. And then Wednesday, there's a full cabinet meeting that's going to be live stream, which will be great. We'll have that on Badlands Live, so everybody tune in for it. Yeah. But this is Reince Priebus. He was the White House chief of staff during Trump's first term. I think it was his first chief of staff, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong about that. But he's talking that it's not really so important that we consider the first 100 days right now, but really the next 100 days. Take a listen.
Inflation is down. Rates are down. Gas prices are down. I think what you're going to see, and I think what was revealing in Scott Bessent's interview, is the next 100 days, which is the rebuilding 100 days, which is cutting deals on the tariffs, which is calming people down as far as where we're going in the economy, the tax cuts that are probably likely coming to the economy. I think the one thing you can say about President Trump is that he's doing exactly with what he said he was going to do. Inflation is down.
Heck yeah.
Woo woo.
Building the
Promises
gold
made,
age.
promises kept.
Yeah. So next week on Culture of Change, we'll have, I'm pretty sure we'll have Julie Lavender back to talk about her third book. And then the week after that, we'll get into a lot of the accomplishments and stuff. I think we're going to probably shift week to week on starting with the WEF stuff, the globalist stuff. Where are they at? What are the changes happening in that domain? And then moving into Golden Age stuff. And then, starting with Golden Age stuff and moving in with the WEF stuff. I just don't like to end with the Nazis.
Yes. Don't end with the Nazis.
It's always bad. It's bad form to end with Nazis.
Very
I feel like that's what I always say. It's the first time I've ever said that. I think it could hold as an axiom, though, if I'm not.
Yes.
But we do have a video, and this is probably going to cut into Basil's Conspiracies. So head over to Basil's Conspiracies. But our outro video is a video that Abby made that I think is absolutely fantastic and is probably going to remain our outro video.
Awesome.
So yeah, we'll take that. Everybody, please again hit the like button wherever you are. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button. Helps us out quite a bit. We certainly do appreciate it, and we really appreciate you watching. We'll be back here next week at I almost said 7 because it's 7 for me. 9 p.m. Eastern time. 7 if you're in Mountain Time, which no one is except for like me and 5 people. But aside from that, remember that change happens one conversation at a time, and be brave and speak the truth. We will see you guys next time.
Amen. Bye, guys.
Members of the United States Congress, thank you very much. And to my fellow citizens, America is back. I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. And we are just getting started. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. Through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. Get ready for an incredible future because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
so much for joining us, and don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video. And a special thank you to all of our advertising partners. Please remember to shift your dollars to support those businesses that support Badlands Media.